part of its far-reaching responses to huge economic setbacks caused by the Boko Haram in Borno State. The Kashim Shettima administration initiated a bold and ambitious project of constructing an industrial park in Maiduguri. The park was designed for localization of factories that share resources which include raw materials, electricity, security, amongst others, with room for attraction of more industries in future. For a start, the industrial park, just commissioned by President Muhammadu Buhari, has in it 16 plants for manufacturing of different products that are mostly agricultural related. Even though each of the 16 plants manufacture different products, some of them are assembled to share one factory hall under a modern integrated concept that ensures efficient space and other resource utilization. The 16 plants include a solar panel production plant with optimum capacity to annually produce panels that can generate 120 megawatts, another plant for manufacturing of elementary school desks and chairs, and a plant for manufacturing of drip irrigation pipes. Others include PVC pipes production plant, tomatoes processing plant, onions and ginger dehydration plant, pilot juice processing plant, cassava processing plant, table water line plant, corn chips production plant, biscuits production plant, grains and cement sacks production plant, greenhouse nets production plant, canopy shades nets production plant, and plastic mats production plant. With today's groundbreaking, Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari has just laid the bridge to Borno's economic recovery and prosperity. Thank you, Mr. President, and welcome to Borno State.
That is where relative is found, and as a result, our existing structures of the schools became overstretched. That tells that we need to have more space for learning and teaching, and as a result of that, we went on to access all our own matching grants from UBEC, and Borno is termed as Center of Excellence. And this kind of yardstick is being done by states' capacity and political will to access their own matching grants from UBEC. What would adequately enthuse you to note is the zeal and enthusiasm of His Excellency to access the matching grants. Up to this moment, we have been accessing, we are warming up for the last lap of his own administration's accession of the matching grant. Our work plan is at the progress level, and basically soon we'll go on to access that 2018 matching grant. So you can see that his singular enthusiasm in educational development of the state did a lot in overturning the educational development of the state.
Governor Kashim Shettima took a bigger step by conceiving a new idea of building what have been nicknamed mega boarding primary schools. As the prefix suggests, mega status derived from unusually large sizes of the schools. Each of the 44 mega schools is designed to accommodate between 1,000 to 2,000 pupils. Half of these schools are located around the state capital, while others are spread across local government areas in the south and northern parts of Borno. The idea behind the mega boarding primary schools is, however, associated with a tragic necessity and hence the choice of their locations.
We have deliberately cited a good number of the mega schools within Maiduguri metropolis and Jere local council areas. The reason is because principally our targeted peoples are the more than 50,000 children whose parents were killed by Boko Haram insurgents across the 27 local government areas of Borno. Majority of these children are unaccompanied. They neither have parents nor relations. I, Kashim Shatima, is their proud father, mother, and relative of these orphans. In 5 months' time, inshallah, I will bequeath this parenthood to Professor Babagana Umar Azulu. We cited a number of the mega schools in Maiduguri and Jere to make them easily accessible to the governor with the dual parent of these unaccompanied orphans. That way there will be direct supervision of their general welfare and education. We are not just building and equipping these world-class primary schools. We are already recruiting quality teachers under a new system of supervision.
Already, the Borno State Civil Service Commission and the Teaching Service Commission have, in complementary roles, recruited 2,000 teachers through a partnership between the state government and the World Bank. The government will extend to the new teachers and administrative staff its sustained record of prompt payment of workers' salaries from 2011 to date, in spite of challenges the state has had to deal with.
The cordial relationship between government and civil servants in Borno State is exceptionally wonderful. I think it is the best in the country. Since the assumption of this government, civil servants never fail to get their salary for even a single month. We wanted to employ 1,000 regular teachers and engage 1,000 retired teachers, but the applications we got was over 20,000, and all of them turned out for the examination, aptitude test, and interview. So you can see that the Borno people are ready to take up the job of teaching, and they are ready to teach. We know the qualification of a teacher. So what we did was to invite for applications, first accredit the applicants, scrutinize their documents and qualifications. When we find them suitable for examining, we give them aptitude tests, and the cutoff mark for being called for interview is 70%. Anybody who did not score 70% in the aptitude test as a professional teacher will not be called for the aptitude test.
Majority of the 2,000 teachers and administrative staff are to be deployed to these mega schools, each of which is built with dozens of classrooms, hostels for orphaned victims of terror, and administrative buildings, amongst other components. Besides addressing the educational needs of children orphaned by the Boko Haram insurgency, Governor Kashim Shatima took it upon himself a novel campaign for Mbororo Fulanis in Borno State to allow their children access to quality and free basic education. Governor Shatima had noticed that while a number of Bororo Fulanis were working as security guards in majority school building sites, children of the Mbororo were systematically inheriting their parents as security guards. The governor began by appealing to the Fulanis to allow him enroll their children in schools.
Aje a yanka musu uniform, a so musu takalmin zamani, kaji ko? Za a musu duk abin da ya cancanta, sai a kai su a sa su magana.
Shitima's appeals were met with strong initial resistance by the Mbororo Fulani parents. Governor Shatima resorted to enticing children of the Mbororo Fulani with gifts such as bicycles in exchange for enrollment in schools. With Governor Shitima's strategy paying off, the number of Mbororo Fulani children offered for school enrollment grew in high number. The governor, in response, approved this brand new ultra-modern school located within the elitist new GRA in Maiduguri, dedicated for enrollment of Mbororo Fulani sons and daughters. The beautiful school with air-conditioned classrooms, digital teaching aids, playground and free meals to pupils is now shared in 60-40 ratio between majority Fulanis and children within the host community. The aim is to prevent ethnic segregation and to promote cultural integration at a foundational level. Though aggressive in primary schools, the Kashim Shettima administration has equally recorded so much in continued efforts to change junior and senior secondary schools across Borno State.
Like everybody knows, the problem that we found ourselves in is the issue of this insurgency was largely borne by the fact that the great number of our populace couldn't be opportune to go to school. So you have this, most of the parents even and the children, illiteracy had been the bane of this problem. And then you have endemic poverty. Where these two gentlemen sit down, whenever they explore, certainly there's going to be a problem. And that is what actually happened. So realizing that the insurgency was mainly hatched by the high level of illiteracy and poverty in the community, His Excellency, the Executive Governor, decided to address these issues. And the first and the most important issue is education. Once you acquire education, you can get those other necessary social needs of basic needs of your life, and therefore education became the priority of His Excellency the Executive Governor, and that's the more reason why he injected a lot of resources in the education sector in order to change the situation that was on ground, especially to afford the less privileged the opportunity to access education and then lead a meaningful life in future, and to make sure that the insurgency did not occur in future in another form. Not also to forget, we decided to make sure that we import the up-to-date technology which are used in our schools. We went with our teachers to India to an e-learning manufacturing company. KN machine was manufactured. This KN machine is it's a teaching device. When we were to buy this e-learning material, we made sure that our best teachers were those trained. They were taken to India. We made sure that the Nigerian curriculum is the one that is inputted into the KN machine, so that it is nothing new. And most important, we also took some of our teachers that went as technicians, so they can dismantle and then couple the KN machine. If there is a problem, we don't have to go to India or bring an Indian to come and do that for us.
Virtually all the secondary schools in the state have been rehabilitated, with also the introduction of the new mega complexes of classrooms, some of which are air-conditioned.
With the quality of education I'm getting here in Government College Maiduguri in Borno State, I can challenge any student around Nigeria in any competition academically.
The school in Government Girls College Maiduguri is very good, very educative. We have a very good conducive atmosphere for learning, most especially with the coming of this new building. Our dear governor of this state, Mr. Kashim Shettima, His Excellency, he renovated this building for us in order to have a good and conducive environment for learning. Because before in our former classes we are up to 100, but now with the coming of this new building we are only 40 students in this class, and we can hear what our teachers is telling us very well from the board. But before the class is very congested, but now we have enough air and ventilation will come to the class. So we highly appreciate the school management, and most especially His Excellency the Governor of Borno State.
The school now, it is different like before in terms of facilities. Before we more than these numbers in the class, where we about 100 or sometimes even 80 in the class. But now you can see we're only about 50 or 48, which is at least a number of the students that are required in each class. In terms of learning facilities is available, and textbook, I have it, and also we have the high qualified teachers, though they are teaching us. So I don't think if there is something that will restrict me to go to further my education.
One of the problems that we were facing is for a teacher to come and see or meet a crowd of students, you'll not be able to teach and assess them very well. But with this decongestion now, you have a limited number of students you can teach, you can assess, and then know your students very well. Before now, you can hardly know your students because it's just a crowd that you find in the classrooms. But for today, a teacher can pinpoint and know the names of his students, and that is what the teacher loves, to know your students and to communicate with them directly.
Despite its serious investment in primary and secondary schools, the Kashim Shettima administration has not neglected tertiary institutions where pupils are expected to make out careers to become professionally productive. In historic record, Governor Shettima it is who succeeded in establishing Borno's first state university since the state was created in 1976. Until this breakthrough, Borno was at a point one of the two states which had no state university. In freeing Borno from such a shame, it became under Governor Shettima that a law establishing the university was passed by the State Assembly, which he signed. It was still under Shettima that infrastructures, which include the Senate building, 5 faculty buildings, three laboratories for chemistry, physics and biology, as well as the university clinic were built. It was again under Kashim Shettima that the National Universities Commission, the NUC, granted formal recognition to the Borno State University in 2016. Aside the history in establishing the state university, the administration of Governor Kashim Shettima has in recent years sponsored the highest number of citizens for specialized foreign education. Dozens of female citizens are currently rounding up studies in 2 universities in Khartoum, Sudan, to become certified medical doctors. These women are, in addition to filling gaps in medical services, likely to contribute in the education of female medical students in the state's tertiary institutions. The administration has made other critical interventions in the development of notable tertiary institutions like the state-owned Ramat Polytechnic and virtually all the 6 other tertiary schools in Borno.
The administration of Governor Kashim Shettima has reconstructed and built more classroom blocks in almost 6 tertiary education institutions, including the Kashim Ibrahim College of Education, the College of Agriculture, the Mohammed Goni College of Legal and Islamic Studies, the College of Administration in Kondaga, which has to be virtually rebuilt because it was at the epicenter of the insurgency. Also, it has lifted the welfare of the staff and students by providing adequate and commensurate remuneration for our teaming lecturers, and also made sure that the living condition of our students that are staying in campus will foster greater learning. I think with that, Borno State has not lost too much in the field of education. But the most important thing that this administration has done is it has awakened in the minds of our teeming populace the need and the imperative of education for our children. And I am sure a new Borno is in the making as far as education is concerned.
With glowing evidences, which are without doubt, the Borno state government under Kashim Shettima has in less than 8 years altered the dysfunction inherited in the state's public school system.
I want to be remembered as one governor who saw education as the ultimate key. I want to be remembered as one governor who got married to the educational pursuits of our people. And believe me, in the fullness of time, I believe posterity will vindicate that.
From the existing record of what he met on ground in 2011 and the overwhelming changes he brought despite the challenges of Boko Haram, Governor Kashim Shettima looks likely to be remembered by the good people of Borno State as a leader who laid a new foundation by restarting Borno's public school systems from the beginning without missing the middle nor ignoring the climax. To use the governor's familiar theme, Borno, the natural capital of the northeast geopolitical zone, is surely on its way to rising again. Zanna Umar Mustafa as coordinator of all immunization programs. The government was aggressive on polio eradication. The government was able to control outbreak of communicable and non-communicable diseases like Lassa fever, tuberculosis, cholera, cerebrospinal meningitis. The government re-established the Borno State Action Committee Against AIDS with preventive and effective treatment responses to patients. Governor Kashim Shettima was regularly involved in majority immunization and healthcare awareness campaigns, as well as giving prompt approvals to other matters of preventive healthcare. Governor Shettima was at a point identified and honored by the Federal Ministry of Health as being one of Nigeria's 3 governors that had given the highest commitment to primary healthcare. The Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, which makes intervention on primary health care in Nigeria and closely monitors dedication of states, also honored Governor Shettima in 2012 in recognition of his exceptional interest in preventive primary health care.
There is this Bill and Melinda Gates and the Nigerian Governors Forum Leadership Challenge that was thrown to all the governors to show their commitment and leadership toward immunization and primary health care services in their zones. His Excellency Governor Kashim Shettima won the award for the Northeast, and this is because of his continued commitment to ensure that this agency and all line ministries associated with health are working toward achieving that goal. He's always on the neck of the traditional and religious leaders and also the local government chairman to ensure that they live up to their responsibilities in their different domains. And through his interactions with his advocacy, we are having a good cooperation of the traditional leaders in Borno State. So much so that I think in northern Nigeria, this is one of the places where the working relationship between the traditional institutions and the primary healthcare service is very strong, and we have the least rejection of PAC services like immunization in the communities because of this singular effort that he has put to bring us together closely with the religious and traditional leaders in Borno State.
While all these happened, Boko Haram insurgents continued their evil attempts to derail the governor. Notwithstanding the distractions, Governor Kashim Shettima went ahead deploying a combination of approaches in restoration and advancement efforts. Meanwhile, attacks on 20 local government areas by insurgents led to influx of over 1.5 million displaced persons to Maiduguri. Among them were families who settled finally within Maiduguri and environs. The development drastically increased population in the state capital, and that implied more persons in potential need of public services, especially healthcare.
Sunana Muhammad Musa Soye, ni daga Bama na fito na zo nan saboda crisis. Yau muna kusan daidai shekara 4 da wani abu zo mu nan. Amma mun zo nan alhamdulillah ba mu zanna haka ba, mun fara sana'armu kuma da muka fara Allah ya taimaka sana'armu na tafiya daidai alhamdulillah mun gode Allah. Yanzu da muka zo muka zanna nan da akwai kasuwanni, akwai a kasuwa, akwai wasu gurare suna sai da huluna, amma mun zo nan an ba mu makafa, mun zo mun zanna mun dan fara gudanar da ayyukan kasuwancin mu. Gashi nan alhamdulillah ko ina idan aka ce Dambuwa Road an sani sananne ne gurin sai da huluna ne, kuma ba mu ki ba a ce ma za mu zanna ma haka mu yi ta continuing din kasuwanmu yadda yake tafiya alhamdulillah mun gode Allah. Muna cikin koshin lafiya, kowa da kowa yana cikin walwala da faraha, kowa yana jin daɗi yadda yake zama nan da yake gudanar da kasuwancinsa.
To improve medical access to an increased population, Governor Shetima focused on expanding and upgrading existing hospitals like the nursing home, which was renamed General Muhammad Shua Memorial Hospital in Maiduguri. As part of major changes to that hospital, a modern maternity complex was built and fully equipped. It was commissioned by the Vice President, Nomadic Education, in 2013. At the existing specialist hospital also in the populated Maiduguri, Governor Shetima approved the establishment of a kidney, dialysis and a radio-diagnostic complex. Specialized medical equipment like MRI machines, CT scans, mammograms, dialysis machines, X-rays and ultrasounds with the latest technologies in accurate diagnosis were imported and installed. Similar medical technologies were installed at the existing Umar Sheikh Hospital in Bulunkutu. Governor Shetima approved the complete overhaul and upgrading of the General Hospital in Molai with new beddings and medical equipment. The governor also approved the construction of new women and children hospital along Dikko Road named after Mariam Abacha. The 250-bed hospital is also equipped with the best medical technologies. The administration also introduced 24 hours power supply in urban hospitals with more traffic of patients. Hospitals in rural and suburban areas were equipped with solar power. This was a departure from previous years when hospitals operated in darkness with admitted patients relying on candles at night. 24-hour power supply in urban hospitals makes diagnosis with specialized medical equipment possible, since most hospital equipment require power to function in both detection of ailments and treatments like surgeries.
One of the policy drives of the government is to ensure that we're able to provide quality health services to our people. And it's not just about restoring the hitherto destroyed health services and health facilities, but rebuilding better. Government is expending a lot of resources in terms of providing money for people to access health services outside the state capital and even beyond the country. And not everybody has the privilege to do that. That's one of what has informed His Excellency's decision to invest heavily in this particular structure. And as we'll go around to see, you realize that in this particular structure, there's been a full component, and like some people describe it, this is fully a hospital within a hospital. It has an ultramodern accident and emergency unit where patients would easily be receiving, but very importantly, it has a lot of radio diagnostic equipment ranging from simple X-ray, simple ultrasound scan, 2D, to advanced ultrasound scan, including 4D. The latest technology in ultrasonography, the latest technology in imaging, a 128 slice CT scan, which by the way is the first of its kind in northeastern Nigeria, and also a 1.5 Tesla MRI, magnetic resonance imaging, is the first of its kind in this part of the world. Our E10 ultrasound scan machine, it's the latest technology from GE. We have two. I'm sure you've probably seen one in one of the other hospitals, but it might interest you to know that that is a technology that is not found anywhere in West Africa and Sub-Saharan Africa. This is the first place where you find that. So in order to mitigate this, to bring succor to the people, to bring better care, delivery care to the people, this is probably the most driving force that has gotten the government to really invest in this.
Outside the more populated state capital, Maiduguri, the governor approved the overhaul and upgrading of different general hospitals. In total, the administration of Kashim Shettima has completely overhauled and expanded 18 general hospitals located in Damboa, Chibok, Konduga, Bama, Goza, Shani, Magumeri, Gubio, Damasak, Molai, Biu, Dikwa, Mafa, and Beni Sheikh. These are besides expansions and equipping of Umaru Shehu State Specialist and Muhammad Shua hospitals in Maiduguri. Of the 18 overhauled hospitals, 12 have so far been fully equipped, while remaining 6 are being equipped.
He has constructed a new general hospital in my domain, and the existing one was renovated very well, and I was even directed to supervise the construction myself. And we have done it to the best of our ability. And most of the hospital equipments we complain about were provided. So he has bring the health services closer to our people.
Besides complete overhaul of 18 general hospitals, Governor Kashim Shettima also approved the construction of 7 new hospitals using a new prototype in Gongulong of Jere, Ngamdu in Kaga, Azare in Haul, Gajiram in Ganzai, Bargu in Shani, Jajeri in Maiduguri, and Baga in Kukawa. Additionally, primary healthcare centers were raised to 656 by the administration of Governor Kashim Shettima. With the drastic increase in number of general hospitals and primary healthcare centers, it was clear to a well-educated Governor Kashim Shettima that there would have to be corresponding increase in number of medical doctors, especially given the population of the state. It is important to note that before the coming of Governor Shettima's administration in 2011, Borno, a state with a population of over 4 million people and a projection of 6 million, had only a total of 61 medical doctors attending to these millions of patients. Under Governor Shettima, the number of medical doctors has been raised from 61 to 213. All that happened with the recruitment of 152 medical doctors. Also, the administration met on ground 980 nurses and midwives employed by successive administrations. In a bold step, however, the administration of Governor Kashim Shettima employed 870 nurses and midwives, and relatedly, the administration also employed 418 health workers with emphasis on pharmacists, radiographers, laboratory scientists, and their support staff. The governor introduced welfare packages that include building of 2 estates for medical doctors as well as nurses and midwives, both in Maiduguri.
We've also been able to delve into areas of human resource capacity development. And as we speak, this has been the major tertiary hospital for the state. This center has been upgraded and is now accredited as a postgraduate training center. It's accredited by the West African College of Surgeons to provide residency training, at least in obstetrics and gynecology. And very soon we're looking at how we're going to expand to the disciplines of surgery and anesthesia, as well as radiology.
Beyond the employment, Governor Shettima sent 60 female citizens on an unprecedented government scholarship to study medicine and surgery in 2 recognized universities in Khartoum, Sudan. The ladies, who are now rounding up, are expected to add to the growing number of 230 medical doctors and to fill the gaps created by a low number of female doctors in the state. Governor Shetima had observed that low number of female doctors was affecting the health care of women, perhaps due to moral and cultural values restraining women from freely discussing their reproductive and other intimate health issues with male doctors. Besides approving scholarship for medical studies abroad, Governor Kashim Shetima's administration upgraded Borno's 2 premier medical schools to colleges. For instance, the School of Nursing and Midwifery in Maiduguri was upgraded to college after overhaul of infrastructures and other academic components. Similarly, the School of Health Technology, also in Maiduguri, was upgraded to a college, also after government improved facilities and academic components. With their upgrade to colleges, limitations placed on schools in number of courses and admissions is now eliminated, thus creating opportunities for more citizens to get trained in nursing and midwifery, as well as in laboratory sciences, which are important aspects in the provision of healthcare to citizens. It is the conclusion of majority of observers, including experts, healthcare experts, health-related associations, civil societies, and most importantly, the citizenry, that under the nearly 8 years of Governor Kashim Shetima, the healthcare system in Borno State has witnessed a turnaround of 360 degrees. The fact that this feat was recorded in spite of the Boko Haram challenges has definitely placed Governor Kashim Shetima in the league of great men who had clear visions and worked incredibly hard to actualize these visions for the health and well-being of the good people of Borno State.
Of its far-reaching responses to huge economic setbacks caused by the Boko Haram in Borno State, the Kashim Shetima administration initiated a bold and ambitious project of constructing an industrial park in Maiduguri. The park was designed for localization of factories that share resources which include raw materials, electricity, security, amongst others, with room for attraction of more industries in future. For a start, the industrial park, just commissioned by President Muhammadu Buhari, has in it 16 plants for manufacturing of different products that are mostly agricultural related. Even though each of the 16 plants manufacture different products, some of them are assembled to share one factory hall under a modern integrated concept that ensures efficient space and other resource utilization. The 16 plants include a solar panel production plant with optimum capacity to annually produce panels that can generate 120 megawatts, another plant for manufacturing of elementary school desks and chairs, and a plant for manufacturing of drip irrigation pipes. Others include PVC pipes production plant, tomatoes processing plant, onions and ginger dehydration plant, pilot juice processing plant, cassava processing plant, table water line plant, corn chips production plant, biscuits production plant, grains and cement sacks production plant, greenhouse nets production plant, canopy shades nets production plant, and plastic mats production plant. With today's groundbreaking, Mr. President Muhammadu Buhari has just laid the bridge to Borno's economic recovery and prosperity. Thank you, Mr. President, and welcome to Borno State. As part of its far-reaching responses to huge economic setbacks caused by the Boko Haram in Borno State, The Kashim Shettima administration initiated a bold and ambitious project of constructing an industrial park in Maiduguri. The park was designed for localization of factories that share resources which include raw materials, electricity, security, amongst others, with room for attraction of more industries in future. For a start, the industrial park, just commissioned by President Muhammadu Buhari, has in it 16 plants for manufacturing of different products that are mostly agricultural related. Even though each of the 16 plants manufacture different products, some of them are assembled to share one factory hall under a modern integrated concept that ensures efficient space and other resource utilization. The 16 plants include a solar panel production plant with optimum capacity to annually produce panels that can generate 120 megawatts, another plant for manufacturing of elementary school desks and chairs, and a plant for manufacturing of drip irrigation pipes. Others include PVC pipes production plant, tomatoes processing plant, onions and ginger dehydration plant, pilot juice processing plant, cassava processing plant, table water line plant, corn chips production plant, biscuits production plant, grains and cement sacks production plant, greenhouse nets production plant, canopy shades nets production plant, and plastic mats production. The 16 plants manufactured. Of its far-reaching responses to huge economic setbacks caused by the Boko Haram in Borno State. The Kashim Shettima.
Legacy legacy consists of 246 apartments of 3 bedrooms, housed in 41 blocks. And it has also a world-class sporting facility of badminton, basketball, and volleyball courts with 5% pitch. The original contract sum of this estate stood at 3,155,060,000 naira. And then other facilities which are
Okay. Hello? Say it again. Sorry. Now 3 places right now. Yes. And 9 minutes. Yes. We are in the let me ask. We are in the, hello?
accessibility on the street. Your Excellency, this school has a capacity of 1,200 students, and it is built to particularly cater for the orphans that are left by the insurgency and unaccompanied children, which we invested. After this, when most of the people go back to their various localities, these children will be left by the state government, and we have to cater for them. And the provision here is that we have boarding students, 1,200, which is going to cater for orphans, and then we have 1,200 children of those IDPs living within the host community who will be coming to the school daily, and the state government made provision for bicycles so that they can come to the school early in the morning, after which they go back. All the necessary facilities, especially feeding, will be catered for in the school, for 3 meals for the boarding students and then 2 meals for the day students, after which they go home and then have their dinner. This is provided by the state government, and we have a replica of the same behind. We have the other building there, which has the same, that is the name, this edifice, Your Excellency, is named after Malaka Challa. And then the other one, which is a replica of this same, is behind there, that is Ashek Jarma. These are recognized services that they have delivered. We are very privileged today to have Your Excellency to commission this edifice. You are very welcome, Your Excellency. You may very kindly go in and then see the facilities provided. Your Excellency may very kindly.
And that wraps up the visit of the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, Muhammadu Buhari, who has been having a very busy day here in Maiduguri, commissioning the project executed by the 8-year long term of Governor Kashim Shettima. The commissioning started from the industrial hub, where we have the tomato processing plant and the solar energy generating set. And from here, the president moved into town to commission projects which range from mega schools, and these schools, some of them are for IDPs and orphans of insurgency, and then some of the schools are also for members of the host community. We have a long list of projects here. We have the legacy housing estates, we have the township routes, we have the Muhammadu Buhari Academy, and a lot of them. And as I speak right now, the president is on his way to the palace of the Shehu of Borno, where he intends to pay homage and have some discussions with the monarch, after which he would continue with some of the projects. But then a lot of the projects will not be commissioned by the president because of time constraints. His visit was supposed to be a 2-day visit, but then we understand the president will be proceeding to the UK later today. So some of the projects will not be commissioned. And after his homage, maybe he will be able to commission 1 or 2 other projects before he departs to Abuja. From the Maiduguri Industrial Hub, I am Blessing Tuno Aso, signing off on behalf of all the production crew here.